Oh, I thought we were going to do that with the book. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's a book that was written by Leslie D. Weatherhead back during the war, and it's called The Will of God. And of course, during that time, you had people dying not all over the country and all over the world, and everybody's experience was something that was terribly tragic. And so he did this series of sermons about God's will, and he defined it like this. He said, there's I'll have to do a little sweet wipe there. And so he defined it like this: God's intentional will, God's circumstantial will, and God's ultimate will. And what happens is God's intentional will is that we would love our neighbor, that we would love God, that we would be holy, that we would help each other. And that's his intentional will. But through circumstances, his intentional will is flipped around. And so circumstances might be some catastrophe that happens, or it might be someone doing something terrible, like we find ourselves in this moment right now. Our sin is a circumstance that would take the place of God's intentional will for us. But then ultimately, God's ultimate will is that God will make himself known to all people. And that maybe in situations like this, we'll see 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, the good that somehow came out of something terrible that will kind of point to God's ultimate will about how good always conquers evil. If I could recommend one book for people to read right now, I think it would be The Will of God.